Hello, hello, hello. How's my people doing? Oh, how's my people doing? Oh, we can't rock it. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Independence Day. Happy 26th Day. Happy Liberia's 175th Independence Day. Most of you know, I'm Liberian by origin, so today is our Independence Day. So we celebrate. Yeah, Liberian person saying Happy 26th Day. That means it's Independence Day. So happy Independence Day to all of you guys out there. I hope for those of you back home, I know you're like partying into the night. For those of us in America, we had all the parties and the cookouts and everything over the weekend. Of course, I'm sure there are some people who are dancing through the night tonight. So if you don't have to go to work tomorrow, or you're just celebrating with your friends and family, have fun, celebrate responsibly. So I had a big show. Let me formally introduce myself. My name is Abby Tyler. I am your host, practicing family nurse practitioner, health contributor to other forums, and community health volunteer. Welcome to my Tuesday show. I usually do health topics on serious health topics on Tuesdays, and I do a little chat on Friday called Friday Chat with Abby. So I had a show already planned and everything for today, but because it's the Independence Day, so I had to, give respect to our Independence Day and talk about, healthcare and how it relates to our Independence Day. So there are a lot of things that are going right in Liberia, and there are a lot of things that go wrong in Liberia. I always let me start by saying that to all my counterparts, those who are in the health field in Liberia, whether you work in a hospital or wherever it is that you work, it has to do with healthcare, and those of my counterparts who are in America as well. Happy Independence Day. Happy Health Independence Day. As most of you know, I started this program 20, I started this about 2014, this blog 2014. I just went the page part, I did the group from 2014, and I started the group last year fall because I wanted to reach a wider audience. I mainly started this group for the fact that working as a nurse, when I worked as a nurse, I saw that sometimes when you're talking to Liberian patients and also when you're talking to people in the community, you can talk about healthcare all you want, but if it doesn't really relate culturally to a certain group, many things that you're going to be leaving, you're not going to be reaching that person, and you're going to be doing a disservice. Not so much disservice deliberately, but just the fact that you're saying something that they don't understand. Because I remember one time the dietitian was speaking to this little Liberian lady that I had as a patient, and she's like, "Yo, okay, you have to eat healthy, cut back on your cholesterol. If you're eating mashed potatoes, or you're eating spaghetti or pasta, anything like that." And the lady's like, what do I know about mashed potato and pasta? That's not what I eat. I eat rice. So it comes back with the lived experience. So of course, it's incumbent upon us as health practitioners to also make sure that we try to get some things that are culturally relevant to our people. So based on that, and also when we used to have our Liberian, we always still have our Liberian Association where I live. We have that. We have a Labor Day thing every year, and one year I said, you know what, that would be, I have a captive audience. We always have like almost 200, sometimes even more than that, people that come from all over to come to our free event. By the way, it's free. And I said, I have this captive audience. Why don't I take this time to talk to people and do a little health fair every year? So I've been doing that, I think, since about 2015 or 2016. And then when I graduated from school and all that, my NP school, and I've been doing this, and I've continued to do this now. And I love teaching my healthcare. I think it's very important that for those of us who are in the health field who have evidence-based information, not just presenting something that we just took an article of somewhere and put it somewhere. Evidence information based information that is incumbent upon us in whatever way. It doesn't have to be something major that you can do your part. Okay. So, and my always my inspiration for becoming a nurse from the beginning was when I think I've told this story before. We had a lady, Miss Rose, who, turn this off, who she lived in when I lived in about to say as the way back then, we didn't have primary care doctors. I mean, we did, but for some of us, we couldn't afford it, and the primary care doctor didn't live close to where we live, so we couldn't afford to go to one of those anyways. So basically, we just stayed home, and she was a nurse who worked at JFK, and pretty much. I mean, operated like nurse practitioners anyway, because she brought things home and she was able to like give us care. And if it wasn't for her, most of us would have died from malaria, from yeah, seeing tetanus thing or severe abscess that, going to see her. So she took care of us and did everything that she could, albeit she wasn't working within her scope of practice, but when you're working in certain places, that's what you do. So she took care of us. So when I came to America, I said I was going to be a nurse. I wanted to do something else first, and I decided to do that. And but when I finally did my my essay to go into school for my NP school, I did the whole story about how she was the reason, the inspiration, like, for everything that I did. So her name was Miss Rose. So today I'm honoring you also, Miss Rose. And also, I also had another Liberian lady who was a family friend. I think she still lives in Philly somewhere. I remember we worked in a nursing home together when I was in nursing school. We had this patient that was always falling. It was always falling. So one day she took all the mattress, she took all the little blankets and she put it on the floor. And she said, when this lady fall off the bed, at least that way when she falls, she won't hurt herself. And of course, the lady fell that morning. They found her on the floor. But of course, they termed that as neglect and abuse, and they fired her. Well, go figure. 5, 10 years later, you go to every hospital, you go to every nursing home or anywhere that takes care of people who take care of elderly. They have these low beds. We have to put mats on the floor so when they pay and keep the bed to the lowest level. When the patient falls on the floor, the patient doesn't get hurt. And when somebody falls, especially if they're older, they are at a risk of breaking a major bone. And most of the time, when they can't heal or that leaves a handicap and devastate a livelihood, that quickly they end up in a major part of nursing home, and also sometimes it ends up in death because it becomes so depressed. Grandma used to walk around and do her own thing, and all of a sudden she's laying there and everybody has to tend to her. So I'm thinking, this Liberian lady, because she said she was supposed to go to school back then, and her husband, she was supposed to be taking her finals, and her husband came and said, I came to get my wife, and just took her away from school, and she never finished school, and she just went on. They got married and they had so many children, but she had the forethought to be able to do that, and they fired her for abuse. Of course, at that time, you know, that's what was the protocol was. But to think about it, this is like $1 billion industry now, where they're making mats and they're making low beds and everything for patients that are falling and hurting themselves. So now at least they're not falling and hurting them. So think about it. This lady, she invented something that's like $1 billion industry. She could have been it could have been copyrighted, and before you know it, she could have been a millionaire today. So to think that this lady did something, this magic. I don't know if we were doing it anywhere before her, but it wasn't around when she did it. Okay, it's just something she just thought about. So she said, "No, I just use it to my children, just in case of default." And look at that. So we're here to give, we're here to do stuff, and we're brilliant people, and we're intelligent people. So sometimes people say I'm so hard on Liberia because I talk about the negatives. I know we're capable of doing so much more. I know when we put our hearts and minds together, we can really improve the healthcare system over there tremendously. And sometimes it doesn't even require something major, just like incremental steps. Because sometimes I say, you don't need to have like the most modern hospitals. Okay, it's going to take a while for you to end up to like Johns Hopkins or Cedar Sinai, but just improve it up to at least an African standard of care. Okay, because most of the time our senators, our legislators, all the different politicians, they go over to another African country, or they come abroad for their physical. When they come there for the vacation, they come for their physical. When anything happens, they fly out of the country and they do that, and they can get the best of care. So why not create the best of care over there for the regular people to enjoy? Right now, if you don't have enough money, you go to the emergency room, you have to be able to pay to go in. Imagine when you go in there, you're having chest pain or something major going on, and you have to pay before they can even see you. And then even then, they don't have all the equipment. They don't have the staffing, and the staff is not. I mean, I don't know if they train every time for continuing education. We had to do that as nurses. It's like mandatories. We had to go to almost like every month. Then we had the state mandatories, our city mandatories. So all of that. Then we had to do continuing education with 30 credits every 2 years to renew our license. So that was for everybody who worked in the hospital. And even now, as a provider, when I say provider, again, I mean doctor, PA, or NP, we have to do our continuing education too. So I have to do one that's advanced over what the RN was doing. And I have to do all of that and make sure that I renew my license in order for me to renew my license, and also for my certification every 5 years. So I know we can do so much more. And I've been an advocate from the time I can remember. My cousin died at JFK, and I think they said she had surgery, and I think they said she had surgery, and she fell. They found her in the bathroom, and I said, why couldn't you just press the call button? And it said, what do you mean? And I said, the call bell. You don't have call bell in the hospital. How you supposed to reach the staff? And it said, no, we don't have that here. And something people would think that's something so minor, but every time we documented in the hospital, every time we documented in the nursing home and all that, wherever we worked that had call bells, we had to document call bell within reach. Because just imagine if you're laying there and you're going through the worst, are you having pain? Are you doing this? You can't get out of bed. You're not going to get out of bed trying to get out of bed and yelling for help or doing it. All of that can cause major injuries, especially right after you have surgery and you're trying to climb out of bed to go for help or go to the bathroom. All of that. You get dizzy if you just have pain medicine, or what if the wound, the surgery site that you had, it starts bleeding and something like that, your blood pressure drops, you fall, you laying there, and they won't find you for hours if you don't come by. Okay. So we have the mats on the bed where when patients are getting out of bed, the alarm goes off. We have all this, many things, all that. So when will Liberia get to that point? Every president that gets there and they said, oh, we'll do this, they haven't done it yet. They haven't, to say. And I have a lot, and I listened to this lady last month. I think last month she was on FOL, who talked about she was there and doing everything to help, and they did everything to discredit her. So when people say, oh, why don't you come back and help? Why don't you come back and help? And I always tell people, I say, you know what? So I went to school here. I pay for my tuition and all that, student loans and all. So you expect me to go back home and just give free service? So who pays my bills? The doctor, the legislators, the politicians, and all that too. They're getting paid handsomely, and all these other consultants and all that are there. They're getting paid handsomely, but you want us to come home and get free care and they say, well, you're in healthcare, you're doing God's work. Yeah, well, guess what? Pastors get paid, priests, rabbis, they get paid. Okay, so yeah, we're doing God's work. It's still a business. Okay, so miss me with that. Okay, so in this day, it is my plea to everybody who's going to go there. When George Weah was getting there, I said, this man is not saying the things that I need to hear. When you ask him any questions about healthcare, it was mainly about him just saying that he was going to go donate this and donate that. And I said, that's not healthcare. That's not how you improve the healthcare. Okay, that was one of my reasons when I stopped talking about it. When I talked about Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, also ex-president Johnson Sirleaf, I talked about it. So nobody can say I was against this president and that president. I always talked about healthcare because it always came down to the innocent citizens. So, and also I hope that, I pray that someday we'll be able to say, yes, somebody's going to go to Liberia. I heard that, our medical system was pretty, competitive way back in the day. And we can get to that point. We can be resolved enough to get to that point. But it takes the right person to be in there and surround him or herself with the right people. Because right now, the ones who are there, they're just sycophants. They just, oh, whatever it is, they will celebrate this, will celebrate the most mediocre thing. When at this point we should be like light ahead, light years ahead of where we are. So, I just think I say the best way you can do it, you can at least, have a couple of have a couple of regional hospitals, then you can have clinics around, pay people to get there. I thankful for my friends who I think they're going again next year. Hopefully I'll go there in the next 2 years. They go there every 2 years and they render care. So, but everybody who's going there and the NGOs and the other people, they should be there mainly as a supplemental system that's already in place. Not to say, okay, people coming this year to do, oral care or to do this or to do, eye care, to give all these services, and then nothing happens for another 2 years. Okay. So you're supposed to already have a system in place that you can help people continuously, and everybody else who comes along is a supplement. All right. So I'm going to be talking, over the years, and I'll be contributing to other forums. You see me on different forums doing talking about different things. So it's not like just that we're talking about negative about our country. All right. If we didn't care, if for those of us in the diaspora, I know a lot of people who don't even want to be bothered with Liberia. For those of us in the diaspora, you see us talking about this every time. It's because you say there, but for the grace of God. Because we're not any better that we managed to come to America. Yeah, and then some people say, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah. You want to come to America? No, America's not this American. I can bet you a lot of people right now, if you give them money, they would free ticket and everything, get their papers straight, they would come to America in a heartbeat. So I pray that, it's my fervent prayer, but prayer doesn't always just not everything you have to put to work. People have to vote for the right people to do that. You have to see it in them. You have to see their track record and all. It's not about donation. It's not about this person giving me this and this one giving me this, and you're celebrating your politicians' weddings and their outfits and the music and it is. What are they doing for you? Everybody keeps saying, well, you need to go back and do this. The certain things pretty private citizens cannot do. Okay. The government has to do certain things. You guys know this, especially for those of you who say this, but you live in the diaspora, you know this. Okay. So I just want to thank you all. Thank you all for allowing me to present health education for you to you guys since 2014. Like I said, I like to present it in a way that is culturally relevant, at the same time also reaching a wider audience in the diaspora, American audience, and everybody else who are watching me from different places in the world. I want to thank again my inspiration, Miss Rose. Also, this honoring my cousin who died. She was also a nurse herself. And I'm going to thank those who make annual visits back home, annual, I think biannual visits back home to help our people. I'm doing my part. Like I always say, I volunteer on other stations, on other forums. I also do my health fair. I'm supposed to do another health fair this September, and I'm doing one for one of my friends who was a guest on the show. And at her job, I'm doing that in August. I'm always willing to talk to people. Like I said, I can't give personal information. I can give personal advice, but I can talk to you because, again, I'm not your provider. So I need this a whole lot of illegal stuff that goes into that. And I love doing healthcare. And, it's like I said, it's culturally relevant. I want to be able to do that. And I thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart for joining every year. And one of the things, like I want to say, I talk about culturally relevant. We had this little lady in the hospital where she was given some IVs, and IV potassium is like mixed with something else, not just potassium completely. One of electrolytes that control your heart and your body rhythm. And it kind of burns when you put it in. So usually we tell the patient if it starts burning, let us know, and we kind of dilute it in a way. And it's already diluted anyway. So, but she's saying there, and it's like burning her, and it's like, and she's like going like this, and she's like, and she's going like this, she's pointing, and she's going like this. So my coworker comes up to me and she says, "Wait a second, Abby, can you please go talk to that lady? You remember the little Liberian lady I talked to you about?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, she's doing this, and I'm like, okay, I said, what? And so I went in there and I said, oh, she's telling me it's burning. And she said, yeah, I know, I know she's burning, but what is she doing this for? What is she doing this? This was her hand and she's doing this. So this part's burning. What is she doing this with this hand? And I said, oh, you know what? The pain intensity. You know what? We ask people whether the pain is from zero, from one being the least and 10 the most. Well, when somebody does this, it's more like the intensity of the pain. And usually you can see they do their faces. So if she's doing that, that means it's burning her and the pain level is at least 10. So it's just like, oh, because I'm thinking she's having a pain in this arm, and why is she doing this? So, and over the years, I've had fun with my, Liberian patients, and I feel privileged to be able to be present, and I'm not the only person. So nobody says you're the only Liberian person, in the world. So I feel privileged to be in a position where I'm able to translate sometimes, even if they don't speak English, I can at least speak it in a colloquial way so they can understand it. And also, I just wanted to end this happy Liberians Day with a funny story. I told you guys about it before. This lady in my other forum, I had this patient. She was the sweetest little lady. I went in there. I said, "My name is Abby. I'm gonna be your nurse today." And she's like, "Okay." So I go and I'm writing my name. It's the patient's board. I would write the doctors and the nurse and social worker and all that. So I'm writing my name on the board, and she said, "Abigail." So I was like, think about it. I said, yes. She said, oh, you got fine ship. But that thing you got behind you there, don't get anywhere, go be heavy to carry. So I'm sitting there going, oh Lord Jesus, I don't even know this lady. And she's already talking about my body. So I pretended like I didn't hear her and I just continued writing. And she's like, Abigail. I'm like, oh, yes, ma. And she said, I'm telling you, turn around, turn around, turn around. She said, you got fun shit. But I was like, oh my. I said, okay, thank you. Yeah, I said, thank you, thank you. So it's like, with Liberian elders, as with elders, they have no filter and they would just say whatever comes to mind. So they just say it. So anyway, so when I think about it, when I think about her, I'm like, oh Lord Jesus, try not to gain weight or try to stay in shape because, but anyway, so that's one of the fun of having Liberian patients too and not with other people because you get to be able to give your advice and in a way that's culturally relevant to our people. So I just want to thank thank you all from the bottom of my heart for allowing me in your homes over the years. And now every Tuesday, for those of you who are new here, I've done so many shows on breast cancer, on diabetes, on cervical cancer screening, on heart disease, on stroke, everything. I've done so many things over the years. I have the group, and then I have the page, so you can just go back and read on that. Always questions and comments are welcome. I'm just gonna go and do this here before I get off. Say hello, my people. Thank you. Is that okay? I don't really hello, my people. And what else we say? Happy Independence Day to all Liberians at home and abroad. Happy Independence Day. Jackie Jackson said the doctor can see. Oh yeah, you should have seen us when everyone was singing the national anthem at City Hall. Happy Independence Day, Mama. Thank you, cousins. Thank you so much for your support. Always, as always, I can always count on you. Say thank you, Abby Tyler, and happy July 26th from Augustine Musa. Thank you. Happy 26th day. My 26th on yo. So all the thing y'all you're talking so. Just make sure y'all send my I just saying. Send me some more money so I can pack it together. I will take it. I was in the back. I'll buy you a small something, okay? So, anyways, but thank you so much. Thank you so much. We got one country, this country where we all love and came from. Our our belly button where it's now and put our neighbor string. And for American people, when we say neighbor string, we mean like the belly button after the baby umbilical cords, kind of slides off and everything. We take it and we bury it, and usually that's where it's like symbolically that's where your heart belongs. It's like even your city or your town and all that. So for those of you also who are non-Liberians who work in hospitals and different places, if you have any issues with Liberian patients, we're the sweetest people. We got a mouth on us though. Yes, we do. But and we're trying. There's so many people who are trying their best to make our country go forward. A lot of people helping over here. I told people I say I'm available by, if you want to do some collaboration. So I'm looking forward to have to seeing the government working along with that. So like I said, thank God for those who go back home. I'm looking forward to you can have a comprehensive health plan, modern hospitals, clinics around the country. We can do telehealth. Like I said, I teach. I was like one of the main preceptors at my job. I'm also certified nursing assistant instructor. I can teach RNs. I can teach LPNs. I can do healthing back and forth. Like say I do telehealth. Most of my patients, some of the patients don't come in. We do telehealth and all that. And I look forward to also strong collaboration between the diaspora health providers and clinicians and people back home. And remember, we're not coming back there to take your jobs. We're there to work in coordination with everybody. Okay, so thank you all so very much. Let me just close this back up. Okay, and so do that. Okay, so but happy Independence Day to you all. It's like 7:28, and I know you all. Some people are so that like they're drinking and they're having a good time. If you have to go to work tomorrow, just be careful with that. Okay, be going here. So anyways, I will go in here and but happy and next Tuesday I'll be on. I had a good show. The show I was going to talk about today is next Tuesday. I'm going to be talking about sex. Okay. Whew. We're talking about how much is too much, how much is too little, what causes low libido as you get older, even when you're younger, what happens when your partner, your libido don't match. And, for those of you who, want to get to the point where you're like hanging off the chandeliers and doing the good things and all the things that come along with having a healthy sex life, not just like being able to like go forever, but just the fact that you and your wife or your husband or your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, I'm not here to talk about the religious part. We all grown, so how to have a healthy sex life and all that. Okay, so and we'll talk about the medical part and also making sure everybody's healthy before you start thinking. So our Liberian people got so many different remedies, right? But yeah, so next Tuesday we're gonna be talking about sex. Okay, so meet me here next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, whenever it's 7 p.m. in New York time. I won't be on Friday, but I will be posting things during the week. I won't be on Friday because I'm going to a wedding on Saturday. So I have to rest myself and get ready for that. And plus, I'll be doing some patient work. So thank you all for watching. Happy Independence Day. Happy Independence Day. Let me see the last video. Sounds like a great topic. Yes, Jackie. It's actually a friend of mine who's an avid watcher. He called me. He's like, "Please talk about it. It's like a problem in our society, in our community." So I'll be talking about that next Tuesday, 7 o'clock. We're going to be talking about sex. Okay, so please tune in. Please tune in and watch along with me and bring your questions and all that. And if anybody who are clinician out there who wants to join the topic, and I can send you an invitation and you can join. I'll be talking about evidence-based information. Okay, so one more time. How's my people doing? Oh, we came here to rock it. We came here to shake it. So rock your body. Hey, hey, y'all see me have fun? I can be rocking it anyway. So good night, good night, good night. You guys stay safe. I know it's been a long day, long day. So thank you all. Thank you all so very much for watching. I thank you for all your love and support over the years. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Stay healthy. All right.